Hey, I'm Aleš Stefancic. I'm from Slovenia, Europe. It's a sunny spring day outside, and I'm really glad to talk to you, Nathan, about this Live Sound Summit event that is coming up.
Well, you are in a very interesting position, which is that I think you have not only attended every Live Sound Summit, but you've taught at every Live Sound Summit, correct?
I think so. Yeah. This is going to be my third time now, so I'm really
Cool.
excited to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm using this big word like every, as though we've had like hundreds of them, but there's been two of them. So you've attended to, you've taught it to, and so you have kind of an inside perspective of like how the thing works. And I've really enjoyed working on it with you because you're always really excited to like see someone or learn something. So I thought we'd just start off. Maybe you could reflect a little bit about your experience from the last year. Maybe you could share with us maybe what's one thing you learned or one of your takeaways from 2019.
2019 was a great Live Sound Summit. I really enjoyed the keynote that was given by John Burton, I think it was on the first day, and then the second day by Robert Scoble. Maybe I've sort of scrambled up the days, but those
No, that's okay.
two.
So the keynote was Darren De La Soul, but John Burton did definitely present soon after.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. It was a morning session, so I remember John's session. When he was talking about what his next move was once and on the sad news came that the Prodigy, the band who he was working with, lost their lead singer. And then he described his path from, working with Prodigy to then going on tour with this pop band or pop act that was basically hitting the stages from the UK talent show, I think, something like that. And it was a really exciting moment, just because it showed us that we never know how this audio life will treat us, and that we should be ready for anything. But there were tons of really great sessions last year, and I'm super positive that this year it's going to be even bigger and even better.
It was a great story because he went from working with one of the biggest, most well-known bands in the world, touring arenas, to what he was calling a new band that was playing smaller shows. My favorite moment in that story is when he was mixing monitors with an iPad, and the drummer started asking him for some changes, and he said, "Here, you can do it," and just handed him the iPad, and then somehow changed his role from front of house mixer and stage sound mixer to just front of house mixer. And then I think he said for the rest of the tour, they just mix their own monitors because they're all, younger people who have no fears around using technology. So they all knew how to do it already, and he didn't have to explain it to them.
Sure, yeah. I mean, it's really interesting when you start listening to other people's stories from the road, and that's basically like the best thing I love about Live Sound Summit is a lot of people just coming together and sharing their experience. It's like a campfire experience, where we each go in around and say, okay, this is what I've learned and this is what happened to me, and we all are really better for it. So yeah.
Alice, who are you looking forward to seeing at this year's Live Sound Summit?
Well, the four greats, Dave Ratt, Robert Scoble, then we have Coach and Bob McCarthy, all people that I really admire and look up to. I think their sessions are going to be great. And then, of course, sessions by Stephen Pavlik are always great because I'm very interested in RF and coordination of wireless systems. I think we're going to have a really strong presentation by Volker Schmidt, who, if I'm not mistaken, will be talking about how he sets up all of the RF and wireless systems for the European Song Contest,
Why are
which
you so
is one of
interested
the.
in RF?
I think it's like one of the things that I started discovering really late, and it's something that I don't have a great grasp on, but I'm right now in the process of learning about it and hearing about it more and more. And I'm a monitoring engineer most of the time for like 90% of my time. So RF is a big chunk of what I do. So understanding it is crucial for my work. And I think this is like, I've been studying mixing for a long, long time. I've been studying the plugins and the consoles and the workflows. And then the RF stuff sort of got left behind. And now it's, its moment. It has its 5 minutes of glory. And I'm really, really looking forward to people talking about it and explaining things. Because I think there's still a lot of misconceptions about, how this stuff actually works. And I just want to unveil a lot of the mysteries that are surrounding this topic, and I'm really looking forward to all of the presenters that will do that for me.
Sure.
Yeah.
Me too. And you're teaching again at this year's Live Sound Summit. So have you already decided on your topic? Do you have a title for the session?
Yeah. I'm going to be talking about the things I had to learn when I became a monitoring engineer for IEMs, so for in-ear monitors. Because I think this is such a specific topic that nobody actually touches. And we all tend to discuss like front of house engineering because then we get to hear what the front of house engineer actually does. But the monitoring engineer for people wearing IEMs, it's a completely different game. It's a very personal experience. And I'm relatively new to this game. I started doing that about 4 years ago. I got into mixing in-ear monitors really heavily for the largest rock band in Slovenia, and we moved the entire band from performing with wedges to in-ear systems. And I had to set up the gear, I had to set up the system, I had to take care of the guys in the mixes, and I had to learn a lot of things while doing it. And I really don't think there's like a definite place that would provide all of the information that budding engineers that get sucked into this IEM world would go into and say, okay, this is all that I need to know. So I hope to provide a bit of information on exactly how to approach, doing that. It's going to be based on my personal experience, and I'm really glad to share it with people, and I hope it helps somebody on their path.
Sure. So you went through this transition from mixing mostly stage monitors to mostly IEMs, and lots of other people could be going through that pretty soon. So this could be helpful to them.
Yeah, I think IEMs are becoming more accessible and are being used by more and more artists. So engineers have to be ready for that, especially if you're interested in mixing monitors. This is something that you will have to learn about. And there's not really a lot of resources out there that would be sort of congested together and in one space. You have to go on your own and sort of scour the web and see what the contents are that might be useful to you. So by just talking about my path, I hope to sort of bring all of this together. And we'll talk about gear, we'll talk about the psychology of it, and we'll talk about how to get a band from wedges to IEMs, which is something that a lot of people struggle with in the monitor engineering world. So yeah, we'll discuss how I approached it and what I needed to learn and what I think people should absolutely know about mixing IEMs. So hopefully this will be something that will be interesting to the viewers of Live Sound Summit.
Cool. Can you give me a taste of that? Like, what makes mixing IEMs so hard? What is one thing that I'll learn during your session that is going to, solve one of the biggest problems I'm going to run into when I start mixing IEMs?
I think it has to do with a mental switch from the monitoring engineer. The first thing that I want to talk about when we talk about IEMs with any monitoring engineer that says, hey, how do we do this? Is I try to instill this one simple fact is it's all about safety. You are now in charge of keeping the hearing of everybody who is wearing IEMs that you are mixing safe and under control, and in an environment where, there is absolutely no chance of feedback. There's no chance of them, hitting a signal that might affect their ears in such a way that might damage them. So getting that mindset is something that you really, really have to start with from the beginning, from the get-go. And once you have that, then we can talk about everything else. But if there's one thing that I want to instill on other monitoring engineers going into IEMs is, let's think about safety. Let's think about all of the procedures that you have to do in terms of having everybody safe on stage. And that's maybe one thing that we will talk about. But then, of course, we will talk about gear, because everybody wants to talk about gear, and what systems to choose and which earphones and how to maintain them, how to clean them. That's maybe one of the lesser known stuff that we have to do. Everybody thinks about moving faders and running packs and stuff like that, but you have to be in charge of also cleaning and taking care of those earphones, and how to do that. What are the best approaches? What are the tools that you might be using? And we were talking about a bit about signal management and RF and the psychology of things, which I think is something that we tend to sort of ignore in these situations, but it's super, super important. So hopefully something that will interest a lot of people.
Cool. Well, Alish, I'm looking forward to it. So if you're watching this and you are interested in hearing Alish's talk during Live Sound Summit, you can go to livesoundsummit2020.sounddesignlive.com. I know that's a mouthful. If you just go to sounddesignlive.com, you'll see that I have a little banner across the top of every page that has a link to the summit page itself. And once you get to that page, you can either click book my spot, and that'll walk you through how to sign up for Alish's talk. Or there's a menu across the top, and you can choose speakers and then look for Alish Stefancic. It's the one with all the funny characters in the name, and you'll be able to book your spot. So I'm looking forward to it. Alish is going to be there along with 30 other teachers that I'm looking forward to seeing. So hope to see you there. Thanks, Alish.
Yeah, take care. Bye.